Then I can. Alright, I think I'm live.
Yeah, you are.
I'm bring up, make sure I got the.
It says it's waiting for you.
It's waiting for me.
Yeah, that's what your thing says.
Smooth streaming. Video output low. Can you give me an idea what it looks like on your end?
It's your screen. It says it's waiting for you.
Waiting. It's weird. Did not have that problem previously. No experience buffering. Video output. From the OBS end, it looks like it's given a strong signal. Let me go into here real quick, I guess. Guess we're doing this stuff live. This is why I tested it yesterday, and it worked okay then. Jeez, this entire thing has just been a mess. Alright, I'm just gonna, I guess, restart the stream. Give it another go. It ran so perfectly yesterday. Let's try this time. Oh my god. The McCafe advertisements.
Okay.
Kilobits per second, is it? Maybe I need to reduce the bit rate. I don't know, that was working fine yesterday. Can anyone who's watching in the chat, can someone give me an idea of if it's running or not?
Sounds live.
Can you see it on? What is it showing anything?
No, this is showing your phone screen. Oh, now it is.
Now it's
Yeah,
going.
it's
Okay. Alright, so I'm going to get started, I guess, and you guys can just tell me if it's running properly or not. we'll get it figured out by the end. So I guess I'll just take a look here, see if the stream's picking up anything. Or how much of a delay we have on this. Okay. So it's just the ABS menu. I did move the thing. Okay, so I'm finally seeing some action. Okay, I'm just going to assume that that it is fine, and we'll get started playing some games already because that's the whole purpose of the stream. All right, so I want to thank everybody for showing up. First of all, should be a pretty good time. We're going to go through a bunch of games I got here, and hopefully everything will go a little bit smoothly. And yeah, so I've divided the games up into categories, so to speak, and we'll just kind of go through them in no particular order. I suppose we'll start with the various fighting games I have for Famicom. So that includes Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 3, 58 Peoples, and Mortal Kombat. I guess for starters, we'll start with the Street Fighter games because they all are rather similar. We'll begin with Street Fighter 3. Okay. So I should say this is we're playing all this on an AVS, which I did a video about previously. The AVS is an FPGA system, so that means that it simulates the hardware of an NES rather than being a direct clone or an emulator, for example. Let's see, where should we start? I guess I'll be Ryu for this round. The fighting games on Famicom are, I hesitate to say bad exactly. I alluded to this in one of my videos, I think, is that I'm not the biggest fan. It's kind of impressive what they can do, but I don't know. I feel like I've played enough of this one in particular that I can kind of pull off the special moves with some regularity. Like I can do fireballs. Out of the fighting games I have, this one is one of the more playable ones. But it's essentially just a stripped down version of Street Fighter 2. It's not the most impressive one. There's no sound. Oh boy. Well, that's something to address. Let me see here. No sound. This is another thing I tested yesterday, and it worked fine. Wait. Okay. I can hear sound on my end. That's really bizarre. But the bar is not moving, so that would mean there's no sound. Let's go into the properties. We're gonna figure this out. I don't think that fixed it. I don't know what the deal is. Wait, is it outputting sound now? The bar popped up all of a sudden. Guys, we will... It's got sound now? Okay, now we have sound. So let's talk about the music. I can no longer hear the music, by the way, which is ironic. It's kind of cleany. As you guys know from my reviews, I'm not an expert on what good music is, apparently. But I find it pretty inoffensive in this game. Especially the opening theme, I think is a pretty decent rendition of the arcade and SNES stuff. I assume that this is based on the Super Nintendo version of the game, but I can't really confirm that. Aside from that, it's just kind of unspectacular, which is something that can be said of a lot of fighting games for the Famicom, in my opinion. Even the one that people usually classify as like the standard Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighter, I think is not all that great. But that was that. That was our primer game. Hopefully the rest of them will be much more interesting, and we can get all the stream problems out of the way first. Okay, so next up is maybe my favorite fighting game I have currently. This is Street Fighter 3 Turbo 58 Peoples, which is both an amazing name, and it has an amazing roster of characters. I also just reading the chat and realized that someone picked up Somari for $5, so congratulations on that find. Okay, it looks like I'll be trying that again. Attempt number 2. There we go. It's Mary Turbo Street Fighter 3. And there is no mention of Mario anywhere on the cartridge, actually. I do have Mario Fighter 3 as well, but that one actually is a little bit more obvious about the Mario connection. Let's just go easy. So as you can see, are there actually 58 characters? 1, 2, 3, 8 times 7. That doesn't seem right. 58? Isn't there a difference of 6 there? 1 second. Oh no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times 8 is 64. Minus 8. 56, right? So are there actually not 58 characters? I'm not the greatest at mental math, but I think I did that right. So a lie, but that's okay, because the characters we do have are excellent, to say the least. We've got Mario, of course, 2 variations. Most of the characters are recolors, clearly. But there are a few where the recoloring wasn't perfect, or something went wrong. I'm specifically talking about like no-neck Ryu here. There's the Blanca that has glasses on. Which character is this supposed to be exactly? It's either Dalsum or Sagat, perhaps? I don't know, let's be him. I think that's the most interesting character aside from this Ryu, which is spectacular. Don't know what character this is. Yeah, I still need to try out Kingdom Fighters 96. Mortal Kombat Special, I don't know if I've seen that one. And I've heard good things about Street Fighter Alpha Zero. What is it called? Is it Alpha Zero? If I recall correctly, the Japanese name of the series is Street Fighter Zero, right? And then it was called Alpha everywhere else. So did they like mash the names together? I wouldn't be surprised. Who am I here? Zangief, I think. Now, I'm actually, as far as the bootleg fighting games that I own go, I'm somewhat impressed by I guess the graphics of this one, since, like, Chun-Li especially has nice color definition. A lot of the characters look kind of weird, unsurprisingly, since they're just palette swaps of existing characters. We'll take a look at Mario quick, since he's obviously the main addition to this we want to look at. And I believe there are actually Mario stages in the game. So, Mario has many interesting abilities. He's got sort of stretchy arms. They obviously clearly lifted the sprite from Mario 3, and then are trying to... they either realized that Mario doesn't have enough actions in that game to reuse those, or something happened. Street Fighter Alpha 0297. Okay. Anyway, it's just, he's not a very good character. He's like, it's just bad. I have very little to say about this game. It's just sort of humorous, the character selection, and you can play as Mario. I'm sorry we weren't able to get to the Nintendo theme stage. We'll look into that. Maybe I'd have more to say about Street Fighter Alpha 097, honestly. Okay, let's look at Super Fighter 4. Get through this fighting game block quick. Alright. And it doesn't want to load this one either. Okay, well, you know, I think we can skip Super Fighter 4. I am gonna cover all these games in more detail at some point, and I think I mentioned in one of my earlier videos I wanted to do like a fighting game special. Mostly because of this exact problem where I don't really have that much to say about the games, because they're all very samey. They all don't control very nicely. The characters are 4 or 5 of the same ones repeated, and they're frustrating and at times broken in difficulty. I think the Super Fighter 4 one in particular is like just the most broken fighting game possible. It's exactly the same as Street Fighter 3, but the damage you can deal is really little, and the damage they deal to you is like half a bar at a time. Let's take a look at Mortal Kombat 2 now. I remember this one being a little bit better. At least from a graphical perspective, it's pretty impressive. There we go. Right off the bat, nice logo. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, well, this looks like something that like the arcade title screen. I did play a little bit of Mortal Kombat back in the day on MAME, but maybe this is based on the Super Nintendo version. Not entirely sure. Was it Sub-Zero? Graphically, a lot of nice, I guess not really digitized, right? It'd be like traced artwork. Okay, how did I do that? I shot a ice blast. Oh no. But yeah, overall, very graphically nice. I also feel like it controls pretty good, especially in comparison to some of the Street Fighter ones. I don't know why that is. I wouldn't be surprised actually if they're based on a similar engine, if not the same engine. But I find this one to be just a easier to control game. and I feel more like I'm, don't worry, you didn't miss anything. The beginning is just, it's not very good. Wait a second. Is it not streaming the Mortal Kombat 2? Ah, I've been talking this whole time over non-existent footage, haven't I? Amazing. Okay, well, let's try and get that to work. Oh. This is just the greatest thing. Okay, I'll try deactivating it and then reactivating it. See how this works. There we go. So I was saying, this is Mortal Kombat 2. It's pretty good. You might not have been able to see any of the earlier stuff, but take my word for it. I am going to play another round, actually, because I quite like this one. Okay. So here we have Mortal Kombat 2. It controls nice, and I don't know if you can... It's kind of hard to describe controls, right? But I guess the best way to put it is that what you're seeing on screen, everything is deliberate, which isn't something I could really say about the Street Fighter games, where I was just kind of flailing around and didn't feel like I had any actual real control over where my character was going or what he was going to do. Here, I might be doing poorly, but I definitely feel like I have more control. Especially the fireballs seem easier to do even. Or I guess it's ice, right? Since he's the ice character. And all that makes this game a lot easier than the Street Fighter games, because it's actually playable as a fighting game. I might prefer this over the Street Fighter tournament, not Street Fighter, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles tournament fighter thing, which is just kind of baffling to me. Maybe I need to give it another go. I've only played it a few times, but I've not been a huge fan of it. I played it on actually one of those Cool Boy carts, back when I had working Cool Boy carts. So yeah, I guess we'll look at the next match and then we'll move on. But this one gets a pass, for sure. By the way, when it was doing the no video, was the audio still playing, at least? Because I think I remember the audio being, I mean the music being decent in this one. Oh jeez. Alright, I gotta get my act together here. This is actually getting kind of challenging. Oh no. What the heck? There we go. Okay, this is the comeback we've all been waiting for. Or perhaps not. Okay, well, that's enough of Mortal Kombat 2. I'm glad it worked as a radio show. That's something. Okay, so, no, just a narration. Alright. I'll pay closer attention coming up here. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. Alright, the final fighting game that I have until we get onto, like, multi-carts is Fatal Fury 3. Okay, this one seems to be working right off the bat. Alright. Oh, I've never been able to figure out exactly what it means by this. But this game actually has a pretty amazing intro. Wait, again, legendary man. do a regular match. Now, if I recall, this game's like ridiculously difficult along the lines of Master Fighter 4, or what was it called? Super Fighter 4, whatever. It just doesn't matter. This is the main character, right? He's the main guy of the Fatal Fury series. Oh, okay. So, great backgrounds here. It's really disorienting. That's always nice. And can't move. So this is like how to not do a fighting game in the worst way. This is horrible. What the heck? Am I still alive? Okay, now. Oh boy. It's a really disorienting background. I like the idea. And I guess they're probably just swapping between two background animation frames. But I don't know. Maybe it wasn't worth the attempt. Probably just having a static bowl in the background would have made things better. I don't know if you can punch while you're standing on the ground. It seems like my punch only works in the air. It's very effective in the air. Is that a mechanic in the Fatal Fury series I'm just not familiar with? I might actually win one. Nope. You've like a fly. Your sounds annoy me. A nice continue screen, which is made out of random blocks. Hey, Adam Henry. Thanks for joining the stream. Oh, I guess that always could be maybe... Those are how the numbers are represented in other language, perhaps? Chinese numerals? I'm afraid I do not have World Heroes 2, though that is on my list of interesting fighting games to pick up. I'm going to give it one more go. I'm going to play a different character, I think. I guess this guy. This is a bizarre looking character. Okay, now this background is much better. It's vibrant and it's like slightly distracting, but at the same time, it's not as like, well, the background elements are clearly the background elements, I guess. That's how I would put it. Oh, I already lost? What the heck? Jeez. Oh, okay, so I have some fireball thing, I think. Then I'll get to use it. Wow. I cannot move. So this game... Digital numbers, okay. I guess I'm used to, like, the Street Fighter thing. Oh, they say the same thing. It doesn't really look like my character, though. Alright. Well, that ends the fighting. Well, I guess not, technically. We got one more to look at. Because let's move into Mario games. And we'll segue in with Mario Fighter 3 by Ending Man. I guess Ending Man also created some Famiclones that I've encountered on eBay. Might be something to look into at some point. Let's do Mario Fighter 3. And you'll notice that this has the same intro as Street Fighter 3. And there's everybody's favorite. Granddad. Or Dian Shimali, I think is another name for it. There he is. Also, the font is horrible. Okay, we gotta play as Mario. Though I think Mario and Guile have the Nintendo, quote-unquote, Nintendo-themed stages. We'll go visit this one first. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I should have picked someone else. This might bring us to Ryu's stage. No, here we are. Now, as far as, like, stage theme goes, this isn't bad. There's another one that they try and pass off as the Mushroom Kingdom, but I think it's stolen from Little Nemo the Dream Master. This one's much more appropriate. I'm still horrible at this Street Fighter 2 clone engine. And Mario still looks ridiculous. One improvement, though, well, I guess it still kind of happens. It's more pronounced in the 58 Peoples game, but Mario sometimes looks like he's, like, bobbing underwater. The character on Dion Raleigh means king. I never knew that. I use OBS in conjunction with this Elgato game capture that I literally just got. Defeat Shenlong. So I think they just... Now this is the kind of digital clock output that I kind of expect. Okay. Well, that was Mario Fighter 3. I guess we can check Guile's stage real quick to see if I'm correct about the Little Nemo thing. Yeah. And that's all we really need to see, because there's no way I'm gonna win a match. Ugh. Oh, okay, let's just be done with that. Let's play some games that I should maybe be a little bit better at. Because fighting games clearly are not my forte, but I am a little bit better at platformers. So let's get into that with some Mario platformers. Here's what I got right now. I got Mario World, the Hummer Team game, Super Wonderful Mario, Super Kid, Somari, and then some Mario multi-carts. Let's begin with one of the multi-carts. Because I like to save the good stuff for later. Well, that's an interesting screen. I have some bootleg RPGs. We'll get to those in due time. Okay, so here we are. This is a Mind Kids 7-in-1. It's a pretty good Mario multicart. I would really like to find one that has 1 through 17 or whatever, but so far I've not. There is one called Mario Party 2, I think, or Super Mario Party 2, that has Granddad and 4 and some of the other rarer ones. But as far as the standards go, this is not bad. Also, an interesting fact for those of you who caught my Wisdom Tree review where I looked at that multicart. This Mind Kids company actually manufactured, or seemingly manufactured, the PCB for that reproduction, because I opened it up and looked on the inside and I saw this logo, and that was a bit of a surprise, honestly. Let's start with Mario 3, because this is actually sort of an interesting version of the game. So as you're about to see, this is not Mario 3, but in fact, simply 3. But that's not really the interesting part. And this is something I just found out about recently. There's an item select mode. So you can bring Frog Mario to World 1. Which is a little bit incredible. I don't know if you can get the flute or anything. Maybe I should check that. I'm not sure this is the most interesting Mario 3 variation out there. I know that there's one with Chinese text that seems kind of cool is in a Kinemania video. I think he talked about it. I have no idea where to find this ROM at. This came with the 8-bit HD console, so I guess if you want to look for that thing, for whatever reason, you might be able to come across it. But as far as a ROM, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure if it's been dumped. I mean, it probably has been, but I wouldn't know where to look for it. Okay, let's actually, one second. Let me die here, and we'll check to see if you can get the flute. Frog suit, Tanuki suit, Hammer Brothers suit, Cloud, Peween Star, Anchor, Hammer, Flute. Nice. I wonder if there's a way to, like, spam the flutes. Because I'm going to, make, like, some sort of guess here, that there must be some way that it keeps track of the flutes, how many flutes you've used. Maybe you could overflow that, potentially. Overflow that value. I don't know. I guess we really don't have time to to investigate this. But perhaps I will. At some point. Let's play a little bit more of this, because Mario 3 is a great game. We all know Mario 3 though, so I guess I probably should move on. It is great though. Okay. Mario 2 is, I believe, just regular old Super Mario Bros. 2, so we could probably save that for a little bit later. Mario 6, it's everybody's favorite Tiny Toons Adventure ROM hack. Now this is like an interesting example where I actually encountered this in the wild. A few weeks back at a mall, they had a, I think it was like a Cool Baby NES Mini knockoff thing, and this was the game that they were using to demo it, which I found a little bit ridiculous, but it interested me at least. I didn't end up buying it because they were asking quite a bit too much for that kind of thing, but it was nice to see Mario 6 get some love in the Americas, which is something that will most likely never happen again. Also, just on the game's own merits, this is a really decent platformer, one that I want to go through in a greater length in the future. But it is one of the the less involved graphics hacks out there. With, I think they only changed one character, right? Was it Buster Bunny? And they changed that to Mario. Whoa, that's kind of weird. So you can get some, like, insane forward momentum by holding down? That's really bizarre. Okay. Moving on. Mario 14. Here's a question for everybody watching. Does Mario 15 exist? Or is it 13 that I'm looking for? There's like a handful of... Well, yeah, it's 15. Yeah, there's like Mario 15, just for whatever reason, the pirate and bootleg publishers just skipped over 15. And I've heard rumors that there's a Mario 15. I think on the Ka4E3 page, they have a list of all the Mario ROM hacks. And they list a 15 there, but I've never seen any evidence that it exists. And I've been wanting to do a Mario about a video about these bootlegs, so it'd be nice to know. As far as the graphics hacks go, this one isn't the worst one. I think that probably goes to the Tiny Toons Adventures. at the very least, they changed some of the enemies, and it already kind of fits the Mario aesthetic. But there is stuff that's kind of obvious, like how his head changes back to its normal version. When you pogo stick, or when you do this, it kind of gives it away. Also, the opening, the title screen credits the game to Wario. You have it? You have the lost game? That's really interesting. Okay, well, if you can point me in the right direction, that'd be greatly appreciated. Oh, Mario 10, everyone's favorite. With the goofy, giant-headed Mario. Again, like another quality game overall. Is just, you know, the one thing everyone knows about it is the bizarre vibrating head. Sure, send me a link or whatever. That'd be great. I'd be very interested because I've been searching all over the place and I cannot find Mario 18. What? Isn't there only 17? Oh, jeez. Wow, there's still so much to learn. Probably don't need to spend too much time on these. Aside from Mario 16, which we have to play out of respect. Probably one of the most infamous bootlegs. I play this one quite a bit, actually. I already really like this multi-cart, but I wouldn't like it as much as I do if it didn't include Mario 16. Joe and Mac is just a fantastic game on its own right. And Mario fits surprisingly well in here. Like, this is kind of what I would expect from if Nintendo never really evolved as a company, I guess. It's like the equivalent of a sitcom that's been on the air for far too long, and then they start having all sorts of weird scenarios where they're like, oh, we found a time machine. Also, there was I think a Renegade. The Renegade video game series did a similar thing, where their third game, though by all accounts kind of bad, sends them like through time and space. I think there's something sort of charming about that. I exploded the dinosaur and I won. Let's move on to the next game. So, I guess we can take a look at Somari. Exactly like The Simpsons. Okay, so the numbering thing. Mac Derby has a wonderful question. I'll read it, so when I archive this, people will know the full context. It says, why do they bother keeping a continuity in the numbers for the Mario bootlegs? That is a fantastic mystery. I suppose it probably served their purpose somewhat, I guess, but at the same time, they didn't exactly. I think there were 2 Mario 14s, for example, and instantly died there. And Mario 5 is just Mario 2 is another example that, like, it. I think maybe just so they can distinguish the games on the shelf, maybe, would be the best reasoning that I can come up with. The Kinomania video does like a really nice job of sort of describing the the Mario situation in Russia particularly. And it's hard to say, too, if they actually had any continuity or if they all just got really lucky, which is almost my guess, is possibly they were just picking random numbers, and we got something resembling a series? This does require some more research, to be fair. My email is mikethegamerguy21@gmail.com. So send all your inquiries that way. Comments and complaints. So Somari, as I've previously mentioned, is like something that grows on you a bit over time. I used to not be able to stand this game. I couldn't make it through the first level when I first played it. But now I'm getting decent at it, at the very least, and I'm really beginning to appreciate it. It's one of those things where I really need to re-review it, probably, with a more, that is a problem, though, is entering a level and instantly dying. Go back and redo this game with a different lens, because my opinion on it has changed in some various ways. Even the music is beginning to, I'm beginning to like it a little bit. I think I'm going insane. I'm still thinking about that numbering thing. I guess it really would be so that someone walking into the store would be like, oh, there was a Mario 8? I guess that sounds about right. Yeah, maybe it's just to lend itself a bit more legitimacy. Like maybe, like, for example, later versions of Mario 16 are called like Jurassic Park Mario, and maybe that would tip people off, like Jurassic Park Mario, and it's got the logo from the Jurassic Park film. Maybe that would tip people off, but calling it Mario 16, oh yeah, Mario's probably been on 16 adventures. It's probably about time he went on an adventure to the prehistoric past. Well, one thing I really like about Somari is the vibrating background flower. It's just really fun. This game is very lively. They're able to get a lot of life out of this 8-bit system. And sure, it's not like obviously Genesis quality. Like comparing the two would be a little bit silly, but still their attempt is really admirable. The only thing that would have been better is if they just changed up a few more elements. Changed the Robotnik character to like Bowser or something. That would have made it a little bit more noteworthy, perhaps. I guess just having Mario roaming around Sonic's world though for no reason is kind of some of the charm, isn't it? Floating tree. Let's get to try and beat the boss of this area, and then we'll move on to the next game, and I'm doing really bad now. Really, the biggest problem with Hummer Team's platform games is just the jumping. Everything else feels pretty good. Well, I guess it's not even the jumping, it's the momentum associated with it. Oh no, a death pit. Where you actually want to avoid collecting rings, otherwise you'll just be stuck down there longer. 21, yes. So I guess I'll just type my email into the chat so that it's there. There you go. Wait. Oh, okay. I forgot I paused the game, and the fact that Somaria disappeared was troubling. The roll move, which is never advised in this game because you totally lose control. Okay, well, I fell in the same death pit twice. That means it's time to give up. That was Solmari, though. Fun game, definitely worth returning to at some point. I guess we could play... Well, let's play some Super Mario World, as it is my favorite. Oh, and we'll show something off too interesting about this particular piece of hardware after we play Mario World. So, this is a game that I should probably go back and do another review of, simply because my initial review is, I don't think, all that good. It's my most popular video, but it was just when I was starting, so I didn't really get real in depth about everything. Mario Multi-Kart for less than $1. Really? Shoot. Oh, and you get to see Mario's body at the top of the screen. Which I believe was something that they were expecting to get cut off on CRTs. But now on HD displays, pops up. I think overall, bizarrely enough, I reviewed this game like 3 times, and now I'm saying I need to do it again. I don't know why, because I obviously did the review. It's on my channel. Then I revisited it when I kind of rebooted my channel. But then before all that, I had another YouTube channel where I also reviewed the game. It's the same channel that the Connor the Waffle stole my Kart Fighter video from. For those of you who remember that. The biggest disappointment about that whole thing, by the way, is that it didn't end up being a thing. I would have loved it if he would have become my YouTube rival. Unfortunately, it wasn't to be. He just blocked me on Twitter, and that was about it. Oh, thanks. Yes, I just whipped that up right before we started streaming, actually. It's my YouTube banner. And I was gonna have it like be in some funky colors, but I'm like, I think black and white would be better for the stream so it doesn't get too noisy. And so I'm just going to say it again here now, because this song in particular I think is pretty good. I really like the music in this game, because I'm a crazy person. We have Yoshi, who might be the most accurate looking sprite in the game. Yoshi has some interesting properties that I don't know if I've addressed, but he can shoot multiple fireballs, for instance, but you can really duplicate duplicates whatever item is in his mouth. So if you have a P-switch, for example, I should be able to show that actually, and you eat it, you can spit out multiples. And eventually, at least on an emulator, the game will crash if you spawn too many. So let's just spawn a few. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. I'm sure there's some glitch opportunity here. Anyone who speedruns this game, maybe you could find if there's a credits warp. Yeah, he blocked me. I don't think he ever got around to responding to anything that I sent to him. He did add, eventually, the credit in the video, which was nice. Like a Pokemon multi-cart? That sounds interesting. I've heard of some Korean Pokemon multi-carts, which are kind of cool. I think they're mostly just, oh wait. I was a little bit worried there. I think they're mostly just graphical hacks, and generally what I'm more interested in is, you know, pirate originals, but still sounds interesting. One of my biggest things I'd love to find eventually is the completed version of Mario World. If I can do that, I will have made some vague accomplishment in the world of collecting, I feel like. There's actually an opportunity a while back to get a reproduction of the completed version of this game, which was sort of spectacular, actually, but ended up not going for it, for whatever reason. Maybe in a way I kind of want to keep the dream alive. From what little I've played of the completed version, it's interesting. Still kind of, even the levels in that game are even a little bit more difficult than the ones here, which can be kind of unfair at times. Whoop. Sorry, Yoshi. Just particularly that third castle is what I'm thinking of. The reproduction was on Famicom World for a while. I don't think it's up anymore. I don't know though. Glitter Juggin, don't you have a didn't you get the reproduction? I feel like you said you did. I don't think I've ever seen like an actual, like, just normal person with a 45-in-1 cart. Like, there's a picture online of what the cart looks like, but it looks like it, like, really professional scan or something. Maybe even it was even taken from some other source. I don't know. But I just haven't seen one, like, sitting around in the wild, or anyone on YouTube who has one. If I recall correctly, it was, like, pretty late era JY stuff. Oh, this level's kind of interesting in that, and it happened in that revisited video thing I did, is you can like bring Yoshi here if you like do some certain things. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but you can bring a gray Yoshi into this area. Oh my god. Also, is it just me, or can you not, like, hit the Reznors as Big Mario? Because I have never had any luck with that. Really, you know people who actually have real copies. That's incredible. Wow. Are we talking about the Connor the Waffle still in terms of how many of the games he reviews he actually plays? Because I completely agree with that. Now, like, granted, I get what his deal is too. Like, if you look at his other content, in a way, I sort of cherry picked because I mean he talks about bootlegs pretty often, but it's clear that his real interest is like game theory videos and that sort of thing, which I'm also not a big fan of personally, but like I get like the young person YouTube thing kind of there's like a formula that you gotta follow, so I blame him and I don't. Can I get the cape here to work? There we go. See the JY logo? Oh, that reminds me, guys. So, those of you who are like really deep into the bootleg game stuff, on the bootleg games wiki, it claims that, or at least it used to. I tried to make an edit. I don't know if it went through. It claims that the JY logo doesn't display properly on the incomplete version, but I figure let's go and see if that's the case. And I know that it isn't, so we're just gonna basically test this out just to prove it. So let me look that up. Also, I did have some other games that I was hoping to show you guys today that I had ordered, but I don't think they got here yet, so we're not going to be able to look at those. But they seem kind of interesting, and one of them was undunked, though it was probably just like a graphics hack or something. I guess it's unknown whether it was dunked, I should say. It was Super Ghostbusters 3, and I also got Super Ghostbusters 2. One of them was, I think, a Ka Sheng release. It was like the High Game 1999 thing. Kind of scroll through here. Okay, yeah, here it says, the JY Company logo Easter egg is accessible by pressing up, right, A down, right, B, up, left while paused. The logo is garbled in the incomplete version because it uses an incorrect graphics bank. So, I just want to demonstrate here that is not the case. As you can see, it displays perfectly. At least I think so. I think this is what it's supposed to look like, right? So there's that. But I want to show you guys, the reason why I ended it there anyway, is because I want to show you guys something else about the AVS here and Super Mario World. Because this machine's kind of interesting, and it can do some nifty stuff. So if we go over here to video options, I think, there's an extra sprites mode, which allows, I think, up to 16 sprites be displayed on the screen at once. And if we turn that on, we will see that Mario World behaves slightly incorrectly, and it's vaguely amusing. If you look down in the bottom left corner, something's going on there. Oh shoot, I died. I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, it just kind of causes some strange side effects. I haven't completely explored the game like this yet, but it looks interesting. Well, here, this part actually looks fine. Okay, no, they don't have any bottoms now. I don't know exactly what this means. Probably somebody who's a little bit more knowledgeable about the Famicom architecture could tell me. But I'm assuming it has something to do with the sprite slots that the game uses. It doesn't act like it should. I also just noticed that, yeah. Okay, we just got a mushroom sitting down there. It works. Also on the ABS, while we're at it, I'm not going to do this because it would just be a waste of time. But really cool thing here is that it's got built-in Game Genie support. And the only thing that would be cooler than this is if you could like set up profiles and save Game Genie codes, and then would recognize it every time you put in the game. Some games actually do get recognized and have a preset or like a list of Game Genie codes that you can instantly input. But here, so if you wanted to play Mario with the correct physics, so to speak, you could access it that way. Also, let's do one more thing actually with Mario while we're at it. The level select thing I have not tried. Okay. Oh wait, I've got extra sprites on still. Take care of that. Wrong. Okay. Hey, look at that. So there you go. I wonder if there's any way to access the other levels, because it says that the other levels are present in the game, but are mostly broken. But I would not know how to access those. I'm guessing there must be a Game Genie code to do that. But I suspect that no one knows what it is yet, if there is one. Also, I should ask if the audio balance is okay, because I really don't know. I guess I should have asked that about an hour ago. Perhaps someone would have already said something if it was bad. Alright. Maybe we could attempt the final level. Keep on putting off having to put this one down. It's just a joy. It's a joy of a game. This and Donkey Kong Country 4. Which I still need to get an actual cartridge of, by the way. Oh, shoot. Alright, whatever. It doesn't matter. There's other games that we need to try as it is anyway. Next up, I want to break from Mario and just do a quick play of probably my favorite multi-cart I own. Maybe that's a little bit hyperbolic, but it's really good. And this is the Super 2-in-1, featuring Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 and Super Earthworm Jim 3. This is an NT987 cart, which I believe makes it, what, Kashang, I think, right? The reason I like this cart so much is because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3 is an excellent game, and Earthworm Jim 3 is an excellent game as well, but it's a pirate original. So here we have Ear to Worm 3 and Ninja Turtle 3. I guess I'll start with Earthworm Jim. This game is really impressive in terms of graphics, in terms of control. I don't remember the music being excellent by any means. But you know me, it's the most forgivable part. Now, this game controls really nice. This is one that is like... I mean, a lot of people always, you know, there's the phrase, for a bootleg, right? We've all heard it before. This one is where you don't really even need to go into that territory whatsoever, because it just feels like a real game, I guess. That's not even exactly what I mean. But my point is that it's really high quality. If someone didn't know that Earthworm Jim 3 wasn't a real thing, they would play this and never expect that it was a Chinese production that came out in, like, what was the card say, like 1997, I think? Some of the enemies are a little tough, but if you just, it's like, you gotta kind of strategize, I suppose. Otherwise they do that. I knew he was gonna do that. But I walked like that anyway. I don't know. I definitely need to talk about this one now. I don't know if I'll talk about the cart as a whole or just this game, but I need to talk about it in some capacity. I played the Game Boy Advance version of Earthworm Jim, so I can't really speak on the Super Nintendo version or any other versions of the game that might have come out. But from everything that I can tell, this is a fine version of the game. I don't think anyone would be disappointed getting this for Christmas. I always hear that, like, oh, imagine the disappointed kid who brought home Super Brothers 6 for Christmas, and then he was so disappointed for some reason. You could not, in good faith, make that argument for Earthworm Jim 3, and I will keep playing it some other time. Let's move on to something. I think someone requested RPGs earlier. We'll do a little bit of RPG stuff. Let's look into this one, which I remember having great stolen Pokemon music. This is oh shoot, I can't remember what it's called in Chinese. It's Minish Cap. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. And those of you not familiar with this version, it is an RPG with like turn-based battles and everything. Oh yeah, that's right, this is the Phantom Hourglass version actually, which is just a title screen hack. So it's the same Minish Cap game with Minish Cap story and everything, but with this different title screen. So, yep, looks like I have a save file here. Got some items. Wait, no, that's an item. Maybe that's equipment, perhaps? This is equipment, I think. Okay. Yeah. I think I just equipped stuff to Link. Link looks a little bit dorky. This is very clearly the same engine that Final Fantasy VII uses, and all the other Shenzhen Nanjing games use pretty much. Probably slight modifications. Let's go and kill some guys. Now this game is like basically impossible because the enemies level with you, but like quickly their stats overtake yours. So like the first battles are fairly easy to deal with, but by the time you're into your level 2, the enemies are dealing twice as much, and you really haven't scaled them level properly. Can't go that way. Zelda's Shin Shi Mauzi. Or something along those lines. I think we'll start encountering guys in this area, probably. Yep, there's a Chew. Looks like we're level 3, which is probably not a good sign. Well, this is fine so far. Maybe you start at level 3. We'll find out. I'd be interested to know, actually, if the Pokemon Yellow port uses the same engine, because it feels the most distinct out of all the Shenzhen Nanjing stuff that I've played so far. That one feels like completely different. And actually Chrono Trigger is quite a bit different too. I think I hit a story moment. I feel like I accomplished something really positive. Nice thing about Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy IV, it's Rock by Shenzhen Nanjing, is that they're pretty linear, and you always feel like you're on the correct path. Is it better to run? Maybe I'll try to do that then. It kind of defeats the purpose, unfortunately. Those flying guys. Oh, I missed. Oh, they missed. Oh, I missed again. I just want to see where we can get. A lot of the graphics look like they're taken from the Pokemon game. And perhaps the Harvest Moon game as well. Is that a dinosaur egg? Or slug? Let's see here. So I thought that was, it's like armor maybe? Or wait. Oh, it's magic. There's magic in this game? It's a defense spell, I guess. I had no idea there was magic. Oh, of course there is. It says MP right there. Okay. Oh, restores mana. Okay. So, 1 second. Let me go into the menus here. I'm glad we have somebody who knows some Chinese in the audience, because this is going to be really helpful. Of course, my tiny brain might not be able to make any sense of it. Trying to match up the symbols here. Oh, okay, well, whatever. Blocking the path there. Oh boy. Isn't this exciting? I thought it was a defense spell because I started dealing less damage. Oh shoot. Oh, what was I thinking? Huh? Well, that's Phantom Hourglass. It's hard to say which is more interesting of the Shenzhen Nanjing Zelda games, if it's Phantom Hourglass / Minish Cap or Fen Yen Dao. Fen Yen Dao's kind of garbage, in my opinion, because it never seems to work for me, but It definitely is more of a accessible game. How about we do some Chrono Trigger? I like this game a lot for its weirdness. Mishealing yourself. That's the charm of these games. They don't follow conventional rules. What? Oh my god, what mistake have I made? This is bad. Wait, no, not this game. Oh, okay, 1 second. Apparently it didn't like that I insulted it. So, for those of you who don't know, I've been using a Fengyun Dao cartridge to hold the circuit board for my Chrono Trigger game. Apparently I mixed them up at some point. I don't know when that happened. Suppose I should play some of this since I put the effort into putting it in. Oh no. Maybe I don't want to do this. On the Famicom, this cart goes completely insane. The words fly in and are like flickering in and out of existence. It's kind of unbearable. Even though the ABS and the also the retro 8-bit whatever thing play this better, it still has the same issue in that the dungeons are all glitchy and you can soft lock yourself. Also, their method for displaying text is strange. I mean, it's worth saying that, like, Shenzhen Nanjing really wasn't responsible for this one as much as they just published it. So stupid stuff like this, which is the most aggravating thing ever, can't really blame them for it. Slowest text ever. By far the best Zelda game I've played on Famicom, and I think the last one that is out there is Wyzing's Link to the Past, which is sort of a mini masterpiece. The higher level you have, the more likely you are to miss being able to use a potion. Wow. Shenzhen Nanjing RPGs are like this close, like just a smidge away from being legitimately enjoyable. But they're always held back by something. In the case of Final Fantasy IV, is the game's like perfect pretty much up until that final boss, which is a nightmare, in which you are completely under leveled for, and it doesn't make any sense for healing. Oh, for like magic healing, I guess, right? As opposed to like a potion. But yeah, that Final Fantasy IV final boss is crazy. The form before it, that when me and Tom did our playthrough, we thought was like the last of it, took us like 2 hours. We timed it. 2 hours to beat. And then it's like, here's my true form. And we persisted for jeez. I want to say around 4 hours, until we were completely exhausted of options, and we had to give up. Which is the least satisfying thing ever. Like, I don't have a problem dying to a final boss, or, you know, making some sort of error, but just having to give up because this is so stupid. Why didn't they just put another rock right there? It would have been fine. We're just losing because or having to give up is disappointing. Especially with a fight that went on that long. Oh, hooray! I'm glad we get to see this live. Did everyone enjoy that? Where even am I? Oh my god. Whatever. It's Fenyan Dao. Now, let's try this one, and hopefully this isn't yet another cartridge of Fenyan Dao somehow. Looks like I'm going to blow into it. Ah, come on. Come on. There we go. Now this one does have good music. I can recall that for sure. Speaking of difficult, like, bosses, I hear this game's final boss requires multiple frame-perfect inputs to be able to beat it. Even at a maximum level. Also, I just like to appreciate this walk cycle. And the fact that we live inside a Pokemon Center. It's all good. Also, if Final Fantasy VII is linear, this game is, like, somehow more so. The level below linearity. Yeah, I should probably do that, I guess. I don't even know if I needed to blow on the cartridge, honestly. It's just like an instinctual thing at this point. I probably could have just reinserted it a few times and got to line up better. Okay, here we have a shop. 50 HP, 200 HP, 500 HP, some MP. Economically, it makes more sense to just buy 10 of these. But then I guess there's always the chance that maybe I'll need to restore a bunch of health on one turn. I'm an old school guy, what can I say? I've always blown into cartridges and no one's gonna stop me. Not until I've destroyed every last retro game by blowing on them. And I'll just do it to spite all of you. Oh wait, there's more in the shop, okay. So assume, oh, 10,000? This is either 200 HP or maybe it means 20 HP when you hit 0 life. Buy some of these, I guess. Maybe this stuff is stuff I can't afford. Some equipment or something else. Now, when it comes to the Q-tip thing, are you supposed to use Brasso in conjunction with the Q-tips to get like a nice shine, or is it just like better to just use Q-tips? Because there's like I know the back of cartridges advise against using rubbing alcohol for sure, and I think stuff like Brasso as well. But I don't know if that's just a Nintendo thing that wasn't actually true. I think we walk back over here and all of a sudden there's something there. Weapons? Okay. Makes sense. Okay, yeah, I gotta talk to Meryl again? Should probably play through Chrono Trigger. That'd probably be a good idea. The actual game. I think I played through this opening a few times. Okay. That makes sense. So I'll take that under advisement. I got some Q-tips in the other room. Maybe I should go grab some. I just want to get into a fight so I can show off the battle system, which is actually really interesting in this game. Has anyone ever tried to like replace the pins on like a really badly damaged NES or Famicom game? Like, I'm not really sure. Baking soda. I've never heard that one before. Interesting. Like, I don't know how exactly you'd go about it, other than putting some sort of metal material or something. Q-tips with rubbing alcohol. Okay, so rubbing alcohol is okay. Alright. I'm learning a lot right now. I want to be able to maintain these things. Maybe I should try and do that with my Final Fantasy 4 Part 3 cartridge. But the one that doesn't want to work. I suspect that it's just straight up broken because it looks fine. Like the contacts do. But it'd be neat to know if there is a way to salvage it somehow. Okay, baking soda on corroded pins. After the stream, I'm gonna take notes of all this. Here we go. We're gonna fight finally. Against a floating head, a slime monster, and an octopus. Or a little man with a shield. So, this is like a timed battle system. I believe the actual Chrono Trigger uses something similar. So you only get to attack once your bar is full. And I think you can actually get the first hit on this guy if you time it exactly perfectly, which is why I think the final boss is apparently difficult. Because you got to get those frame perfect presses. And I think now that he's got the first strike on me, it's not gonna work so well. This game has quite a few interesting enemies in it. Anyways, this was one that I was always interested in since I saw it featured on this old YouTube show that's not around anymore called You Can Play This. They did an episode on pirate. Hello? Are we back? I think we're back. If you guys want to confirm for me that we're back, that'd be appreciated. I want to say we are. Things are looking good again. Okay, cool, we're back. And just in time to see a Pokemon show up. Was this Rhyhorn, I think? Green Rhyhorn? This is not the only one in the game. And I think, what is this, like 38? Number 3 on the box. This is the 38th release by them. I want to say that's before Pokemon Yellow, but so that I know for sure, I'll just look it up. Open it up. So the question is whether or not this is before or after Pokemon Yellow. The music is actually really, really well done. I'm mostly impressed with all the Shenzhen Nanjing music, as far as I can think about it. Yeah, so Pokemon Yellow was 8 games later they released that one. So I mean, they could have been being developed concurrently, I guess. I don't know. Here we go, it's Beedrill. Looking much more properly colored than Rhyhorn. I think Haunter's also in the game. It's a bit slow, but I believe your meter starts going faster the higher level you are. So that helps. What else we got to look at here when I finish this fight? Got Diablo 2. That one's kind of interesting. I think it shares the most similarities with this game out of all their RPGs, probably. 8th gen Pokemon is this game. They need to reinvent that franchise. It's gone stagnant. They need to add time-based battle mechanic and swords. Alright, let's look at another thing from Shenzhen Nanjing, something they don't usually do. Another one of the, I think, many games that Glitter Jugend sent. This is NJ049, The Hacker, which is slightly amazing. There he is, the hacker himself. And some Chinese. It disappears instantaneously. I didn't actually hit anything there. And it's up to us to collect CDs and go through this assumingly Microsoft building. There's Internet Explorer stuff, which is kind of perfect. So this game is like playable garbage, in that this is another nice code release. So it's not great. Graphically, it's pretty blah, to say the least. The controls aren't even that amazing. Sometimes you charge your kick when you don't want to. But at the same time, the jumping actually feels decent, which isn't something you can say for a lot of these games. Would have been nice if he didn't charge his kick there, but this one is playable, mostly. There's a submarine level that's a little bit unfair. But there's even power-ups you can get, and I haven't found one yet, but you can get a gun, you can die because of a bee, or a beetle, I guess. The game's title screen and the cover implies this is based on The Matrix, but I died in the same place. But that's not actually the case, as far as I know. Is this what The Matrix is like? I've never seen The Matrix before. But I'm pretty positive that this isn't what The Matrix is about. Even if it probably should be. Not this time. Yep, I died again anyway. Okay, it's the hacker. How about we play something that I am actually a big fan of now? This is one of my favorite games in my collection currently. It's Toy Story for the Famicom. This game is like an achievement in many different ways. First of all, it's actually just a good game. It plays pretty solidly. Graphically, it's impressive. The music is actually pretty decent. It's just a great production altogether. Something I like is that they even changed the Super Nintendo controller, because I think everyone agrees this was based on the Super Nintendo version. They like drew a Famicom controller, which is pretty cool. They didn't have to do that. They could have just, you know, traced the graphics. They even translated the story themselves for some reason, even though it's horrible. And we need to find out what presents we is going to be given. To see Andy has any new toys. Okay, so we are. The controls are a little bit slippery, but like not in like a bad way necessarily. It feels more like the game was designed that way rather than it's like a problem, because you can control it fine. I say as I miss that jump. But honestly, it controls more than acceptably, even if he's like a little bit slippery. It's like in a way that makes it feel like it was intentional. Kind of makes it feel like the character has real like gravity and weight to him, which can really be either a great thing or a horrible thing depending on what you're going for. This game's also really, oh jeez, really short, so we might try and get through the whole thing. Like 10 minutes would not be a problem to beat this game in. And you get to see a lot of cool stuff. There's a lot of variety. I think I can actually probably stay on the ground here. But I've chosen this other route for some reason. There we go. We get some contra music. Woody dancing around like a freak. Okay, man, let's move, move, move. The army men flying out of Andy's room and down the stairs, carrying the baby monster. Alright, take cover, man. Hiding in a large green plant, the troop batches Andy's party from a safe distance. The baby monster. I guess this game did produce one meme, right? It's that that title screen image of Woody. I don't get how Baby Monster didn't become a meme. In my opinion, that's the better one. Oh, also this game is a brilliant retelling of Toy Story. Oh shoot. Oh my god, I wasn't paying attention, I was reading the chat. Is that what that is? Is that why the music sounds so good? Everyone else agrees the music is good, right? The in-between level music is a little bit not great, but oh my god. Shoot. That's weird. I'm usually much better at the game. Believe me. Also, Blue Rex is down there. A new character that was added specifically for this game. A brand new creation. That was kind of close. I don't think you can kill the sharks or harm them at all, even, so I haven't been trying to. Honestly, even if you could, I don't know what good that would do you. There we go. Love that. How did I get under here? It must be an accident. Is that a Q? And he's excited about his new toy. I'd better go and take a look. Hey Rex, wham, potato weed, come and check out Andy's new toy. Wello, are you Andy's new toy? No, I'm Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger, Universe Protection Unit. I'm stationed, in the Gamma Quadrant of Sector 4. What, you think you're a real Space Ranger? Hey guys, Andy's new toy thinks he's got lasers and can fly. Hey, you say he was a laser. How come? You don't have a laser, Woody. It's not a laser, it's a little light bulb that slinks. Gee, Woody, sounds like Waster envy. Maybe we need a race to settle this. What an amazing story. And then instead of a race, they fight each other in the Nightmare Dimension. Where it says mate. It's the only blocks he has are M, A's, and 8's. Oh, here you gotta be kind of careful because if you do it wrong, you can like spawn him off the screen. But you also gotta avoid his laser, which is actually quite difficult if you get running in the wrong direction. But the background's really nicely drawn. Like, this is really good if you're making a Toy Story horror game. I can't think of a much better way of doing it. Oh, shoot. Ah, too slow. In my opinion, this is actually harder than the actual final boss. Whoa! It's not really fair for him to be up there. There we go. Another level completed. Days pass, and Woody finds Wii is no longer Andy's favorite toy, as the last boxes are packed so the family can move to a new home. Woody watches and playing with Buzz. Dinner at Pizza Planet? Asks Andy's mom. Andy bring a toy. Brings a toy. Andy will take Buzz unless I can wide him behind the cupboard, so Andy was to take me instead. Woody picks up RC Car's remote control and starts up RC. Now if I can just bump the car into Buzz. And now we have a brand new type of level, which is, again, like, really well drawn. I'm having a little bit of issue here because I forgot that this part controls very oddly at first anyway. Eventually you get the hang of it. When I first got the game, I was playing this pretty much every day, actually, just because I'm really interested in this game, and I'd like to see what other stuff. Is it Yi Hao Yang? Is the guy who made this? I'd like to see what his other stuff was, because I think he did a few Disney games. But yeah, the basic idea is you gotta drive around and conserve your battery life. And not getting stuck in corners. Oh god. And then get to the end to murder Buzz. Come on now. And there we go! Even animated that. Lots of animations. It's all very well done. And then it just repeats the same thing. And I suspect there's something missing here. Like another thing of text that got skipped over for some reason, because the story kind of plays out of order, more or less. But we're on the final level now. You'll notice in the back it says Toy Sotrai, which is the sequel to this game. I'm not sure if you played it. And then I think that the background text is that's above that is supposed to say something as well, but I have no idea what that could possibly be. There we go, guys. We completed the game. Buzz Lightyear is dead. Congratulations, you are complete Woody's mission. He murdered Buzz, and that's how the story ended. Classic Disney moment for everybody. I've not played Mickey Mania 7. I'll have to look into that then. I've seen screenshots of it and I was intrigued, but I never got around to playing it. So I'll investigate that one. Beat the game! Alright. Well, I think I'll be wrapping things up here kind of shortly, so I really only had plans for a 2-hour stream. But I'd like to do one more thing, probably, before we part ways here. Dooley Bravo Land, that's the game with the amusement park, and Mario's in it, right? At the amusement park, he's an enemy or something. It's got a dinosaur. I think it's a Korean game. It was one of like the last games to be dumped or something crazy. I have not played that one either. I haven't played any of the Korean originals to my knowledge. What would be a good one to wrap things up on? Geez, there's so much other stuff we could have looked at. It's difficult. Maybe we'll I'll show this off real quick, just because it's interesting. Goku, like Goku from Dragon Ball, is in Dooley Bravo Land? Or is it just like the character from Journey to the West? So this is interesting. For whatever reason, this is a game that messes up the ABS's menu. Runs fine other than that. I don't know why it does this. But this is 9 Gloatin' Dragons. You see, everything works fine after that. I can't remember which ones are the most interesting on here. I mean, they all kind of are, so I guess I'll just pick one at random. And stop. There's some Wyzine game. It's Golden Axe 2. Kind of like this guy. He's kind of cool. Goku's in Dooley Bravo Land. I'll have to look into that. Is the Dooley dinosaur character like a known thing in China or Korea? Because there's another game I remember seeing once. It's called Doola Doobie Star, and it also started a dinosaur. I'm not having very much luck with this. Okay. So I've played the original Golden Axe at least once. I think I played it on Game Boy Advance. Not a huge beat-em-up guy, but I don't know. Even for beat-em-ups, this seems a little bit slow. Jumping feels nice. I think I'd stick to TMNT though. Let's play a different one. How about Gaiapolis? Oh no, Sachin. Oh, okay, well, maybe something good here. This is neat. It's a neat effect. Alright. Amy, Lynn, Ken. Okay, I'll be the dinosaur guy. Now this is interesting. Sachin made this? Oh, this is interesting. It's kind of like a top-down. Not really beat 'em up even. It's more like kind of close to like a Zelda thing almost. But with instead of puzzle mechanics, it's more of a action game. How do I do that? Where do I get these? I like that. Oh, you can level up and stuff? Wait a second, this game's neat. I see I have 99 credits. Is there any chance that this was like set up in an arcade at some point? Because something I've been studying recently is Brazilian bootlegs, and I know there's instances of people editing like Killer Instinct, the Super Nintendo version, to be a coin-op game. By the way, I'm finding out some interesting stuff about Brazil. The last, like, 2 weeks have been two main points of research for me have been the Brazilian pirate market and arcade games. I found some interesting stuff out there too. Kind of want to do a special like arcade oddities episode or something along those lines. Primarily with Brazil, I'm finding that there seems to have been a few like Mario ROM hacks, like really early ones, like 2000, that might even have been produced in Brazil that were released on cartridge there. Sachin means something in German. I'll look into that. Okay, so this game is actually like really fun. I'm getting a little bit addicted. I don't know. This is impressive. This is the first Sachin game I've ever played where I didn't want to instantly turn it off. Oh, my shield doesn't really work. That's okay. Oh, I missed the book. Grab the book. Oh. Okay, well, I will look into the original version of this because I am a fan of this thing right here. This is amazing. I really like this. Okay. Well, unfortunately, we gotta cut it there because I gotta go pick up my sister from school. So I just want to thank everybody who stopped by today. This was really great. We had great chat interaction. There was actually a ton of stuff that I wanted to talk about that we just never got around to. So there's room for future streams. Those of people who weren't able to make it will get like an uploaded version of this on the secondary channel, and then might do like a highlight version of this video for this channel. We'll see what happens. But I just appreciate everyone for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys next time.